Hey, everybody. Well, it's springtime in Wisconsin, and that means it's time to get ready for another skydiving season, and that means it's time for another ferry flight. My name's Kerry McCauley. Welcome to my channel. So, my skydiving school opens next Friday, and I need to fly down to Dallas and ferry the caravan that we use back up to Wisconsin. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's a nice, easy ferry flight, 700 miles, piece of cake, no mountains to cross. I've got 4 days to do it in, so no pressure. So I'm really looking forward to it because I love long cross countries. They're not only fun, they're challenging. And having a mission with just a little bit of pressure is always gives you that little bit extra challenge, basically. And that's something I think a lot of young pilots don't get enough of. You've got to do some really long cross countries to put that pressure on you to fly or not to fly and make you really analyze the weather that you're going to be facing, all the conditions, and your own capabilities. Because you don't get that flying around the pattern of your local area. It's just too easy. If it's nice, go flying. If it's not, stay home, go to a movie, whatever. But when you're on long cross country, there's always that little bit of pressure. And I know you shouldn't let pressure or get homeitis influence your safety decision on go or no go. But in aviation, especially commercial aviation, that's just not realistic. There's always going to be some pressure, and you're going to have to make that decision. If you ever want to get a job as a ferry pilot, corporate pilot, heck, even a pipeline pilot, you can't just fly on bluebird days. You're going to have to at least go take a look and make these decisions and see what you can do. I mean, most companies will say we never pressure our pilots to do anything they're uncomfortable with or push their abilities, but again, not 100% realistic, because if you refuse to fly anything but a bluebird day, you're going to be looking for a new job pretty soon. That's not to say you go out and do stupid things, but you've got to make that decision. And the best way to make that decision is to go out and get some experience, like a long multi-day cross country. You wake up every morning, look at the weather, decide what you can do, what are your alternates, alternatives, stay in the hotel, go try it. It's not an easy decision, because sometimes sitting on the ground means extra money, missing appointments, things like that. So I really encourage young pilots to go do long cross countries. Now for me, this one, again, probably super easy. It's not a multi-day trip across the North Atlantic in a small single engine. It's just a nice, easy trip up from Texas to Wisconsin, 700 miles. And I shouldn't be worried at all about it. But almost exactly a month ago, a pilot with almost my exact resume and situation in life was doing almost the exact same thing, ferrying a caravan, just like this one, a skydiving caravan, from one skydiving school to another. And it was even shorter than this. It was much shorter than this, not even half the distance, and he didn't make it. And that's kind of upsetting. It's just like, if it can happen to him, yes, of course it could happen to me. I mean, like I mentioned, we have the exact same resume, almost the same age. He's 75, I'm almost 63. 3,000 hours of turbine time, mostly in the caravan. I've got about the same. 9,000 total time. I've got about the same. He's even flying north like I'm going to be. So we don't know exactly what happened with this pilot yet. Somehow he lost control of the plane. We don't know if it's mechanical, medical, who knows what. But it just shows you that nobody's immune to this. He's been flying for a really long time, longer than I have, time-wise. And we don't know what happened. So I'm going to have to hopefully try and take it a little bit more cautious on this one. But we're going to see, because as I'm going to show you here, the conditions aren't perfect. So whenever I take a long cross country, I look at the weather for as much lead time as I have. I'm planning on going down Tuesday. It's Friday today, so got 3 days to look out. So I'm going to, the TAF doesn't go out that far, so I'm going to look at the prog charts. So I go to the Aviation Weather Center, go to Tools. I like the decision support imagery. That's pretty good. And hit the prog chart. Oops, hit the prog chart there. And I think that's about 96 hours. And yeah, that doesn't look good. From Texas up to Wisconsin, looks like it's going to be mostly rain until I get into the snow and ice. Awesome. But of course that figures. Every single time I got to ferry this plane, it seems like I've got terrible weather to deal with. Last year I had a twofer. Picked it up in the spring from South Carolina. Had to scud run through clouds and go way out of my way to make it up in time. Taking it back to Dallas, ended up having to do a pop-up IFR clearance, and doesn't look like this trip's going to be any different. Now, if I can maybe go a day earlier on Monday, that looks a lot better, but I don't know if the plane's going to be quite ready by then. Guess I'll have to make some calls and see, because I'd really rather not fight a whole monster system like that of icing. That looks, I like challenging. That looks really challenging. Anyway, I'll be doing this flight in the next couple days, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully the forecast is way off and it's going to be clear skies, but it doesn't really look like it. That big of a system, I think that's going to be there. Crap. Oh well. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to keep your speed up.